Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. I thought I'd show off a couple of my Victorinoxes today, so we're covering the Victorinox Super Tinker. Let's get started. You may hear some chirping in the background. We recently purchased some chickens and they are still chicks. They are big enough to be incredibly loud but small enough to not be able to go outside yet, so do bear with me. But the presentation today is on this guy. I'm going to go ahead and post here what the tool set and weight and all is according to Victorinox's website, but we'll also be going through what we have. So it is a 3-layer tool, relatively thin. We're looking at just over ½ an inch, less than 3/4 of an inch, and just over an inch wide. Relatively lightweight, especially for the tool set on board. So for this layer, we have our main blade. We're looking at 2¼ inches of usable blade length. And we have our larger blade and our backup blade. Next up, we have the quintessential and always necessary scissors. Best in the business. Fantastic, especially for their size. Sharp enough and strong enough to easily and regularly cut through zip ties, which is one of the multiple tasks that this guy is called upon for. And then we have our opener layer with a screwdriver, can opener, cap lifter, wire stripper, this little notch right here. On the back, instead of the typical corkscrew, we have a 3D Phillips, a 200-pound lifting parcel hook, and an awl with a sewing eye to stitch things together. Lastly, the scale tools. We have a small but usable set of tweezers. This one, it kind of sticks due to our usage, so you could just pull out your toothpick, which is on this side, and use that to start the tweezers out. There's a little tip for the video for you. And then again on this side we have the toothpick. The last thing we have, I believe I added to this one, is a push pen. If you do not have a hole here, you can either drill one or you can replace your scales to put one in, but a push pen that completes the tool set. This guy was given to my wife for the sole purpose of being a dedicated gardening tool and is perfect for the job. So what we'll do is we typically get the 1-gallon milk jugs, and using the awl, we'll drill 3 or 4 holes in the bottom of it. And now you collect rainwater, 1 gallon's worth, in a milk jug, put it next to the plant you want, and the 4 holes that you just drilled in the bottom are now slowly delivering that 1-gallon payload directly into the roots of the plant. You're not burning the leaves of the plant by spraying the plant during the sunlight, and now the sunlight starts burning away the leaves. You're not knocking the leaves down or, abusing the plant with the weight of water being perpetually poured on it. And you can move that milk jug around wherever you need to. You can add fertilizer, you can add biodegradables, all the things. So the awl actually gets quite a bit of use. The hook is ideal for pulling things. Pulling a chain link fence to hold it into place as you wrap it with wire. Now you put the wire in here and you give it a couple twists and you're now tightening the noose around the chain link fence, around the fence post, and pulling it much tighter than you'd be able to. You can also get a better grip on a chain link fence by hooking it and getting 4 fingers on there instead of pulling 1 finger and cutting into your flesh by using the hook that's provided. Same thing here. If we need to screw something into place, loosen a screw, work on the lawnmower, stuff like that, we have the Phillips, which is fairly more useful than the Celebration corkscrew that you usually find on the 91mm. The blades are, of course, very useful for blades cutting up cardboard, making signs, trimming sticks, shaving sticks down to act as stakes that you can then shave off the surface and write tomatoes or whatever, and now you have stakes with the labeling of what the plant is, a way for organization. Ideal for, you don't want to break branches off of plants, you want to cut them as cleanly as possible, and they're less likely to cause damage to the plant, allow ingress of bugs and degradation and stuff like that. So having scissors is ideal. Cutting zip ties, if we zip tied a plant onto a stick, or tried to support the plant upright by using zip ties, or using zip ties on fences or fence posts to kind of keep everything together, or we have a safer way to cut things than to try and, Jesus Christ, right? So while a blade is useful, having two blades intersecting to slice the thing is a much safer way of doing it. And then lastly, with your opening layers, we have two different size of flathead screwdrivers, of scrapers, of being able to dig a pretty decent diameter hole to drop seeds into to then be able to cover it, mini shovel, if you will. And this guy is a pretty decent edge if you're opening up seed packs and you don't want to accidentally cut yourself or cut into a stick or into the ground or something and dull your main blade. You have a arguably third blade right there, in addition to being able to scrape and tighten things with that. So very handy tool set. I suppose the last thing we do use is the push pin. And again, if we have smaller bottles or even the milk jugs, if you pop a couple of small holes, you can more sporadically deliver that water. Instead of having 4 water chutes here, you could have 16 little ones that will disperse that water a little bit more, getting to more root systems around you. So this is just, oh my gosh, ridiculously handy. Very small, lightweight, fits in her pocket, even though her pants have pockets that are this deep. Does anyone know why women's pockets are like exactly that useful and that they are not useful? That just, phones have been replaced, knives have been lost. It's ridiculous. I digress. So the last thing I will show you, and again another tip for the video, is these are available. I believe I got them at Dollar Tree. Maybe it was online. They're basically a clip as a cable management system. So if you have a cable or something that needs to be routed, you would stick these onto your desk, in your car, whatever, and you'd be able to run your wires through it. And now you can still get to them, you can still replace them, but they're not being randomly tossed wherever, or your USB charging cable isn't ending up under your driver's seat or what have you. I've repurposed them into adding a belt clip onto any of your 91 millimeters, or your 111 millimeters, or even your big boy Swiss Champs. This one I put along the spine because she'd be thick, and she's a little less thick this way. So it is an option you can do, but I do like showing this off. It is my contribution to the internet. Be it inside the pocket carry or outside your belt carry, you can stick it anywhere you want to, and even if you're pocket carrying it, it still gives you a generous amount to purchase that blade, or you can run your finger down along it and pull it out that way. But you could get them in clear, black, white, whatever you want to do. You can adjust it to wherever you want, and it also gives you a little bit higher contrast, and that it's not just red. You also have red and white, red and black, red and clear, whatever you want to do. You could probably color them, make it a little bit easier to identify from a distance, whatever you want to do with that information. But I find it very handy, as does the wife. She can clip this onto a bag that she's taken down there, onto a purse, into her pocket, whatever. The easier you make it to carry a thing, the more likely, especially with my wife and probably most women in general, it is for them to be able to implement that into their system, into an everyday carry philosophy. So, as I said, thought I'd pass that along. But As far as the tool set is concerned, it's very difficult to beat, especially for this size. And being a Victorinox, you know that the metallurgy is there, you know the engineering is there, you know it's not going to break on her, it's not going to fail on her, and more importantly, it's not going to corrode on her. If you leave this out in the rain all night and you go back out the following morning when there's sunlight and you finally find the thing, you know it's not going to be rusted and corroded together. These things, I don't know that I've ever seen a rusted Victorinox. If you have, tell me in the comments section down below. And we're going to bar any Victorinoxes that are used on maritime vehicles. I feel like that's fair. No salt water. No salt water. But even then, if you do use this around saltwater, tell me what your experiences are. Do you just like oil it? Or I'm in Ohio. We don't have salt water. And no one goes into Lake Erie because once upon a time, I think in the 70s, it literally caught fire. I'm going to repeat that. The rivers of Ohio caught fire. Look into it. But that is what we have for this guy. An incredibly useful tool set that even my wife is willing to employ. I present to you the Super Tinker. Probably the smallest 91mm that includes the absolutely necessary scissors and has basically all the tools you need with no tool that you couldn't find a use for. And it still snaps. Even used in the garden, it still snaps. Ah, I love it. So, this has been Outside the Target Demographic. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Any questions, comments, concerns you have, go ahead and leave them in the comments section down below. And I will catch you guys in the next video.